Well, welcome to our May open board meeting for the Philadelphia Folk Song Society. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I don't think we need to have a vote on that. I think I just am able to do that, so that's what I did. But we do need to vote to approve the minutes to the last meeting. Lisa, do we have those?
They're in our Google Drive. Should I
Trainer,
post them in the chat?
Sure. No problem with that. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the meeting, the minutes from our last meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion from Eric, any second?
They're too large to post in the chat.
Okay,
I second.
okay, Cheryl, second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from last month? Anybody opposed? Nope, okay, so the meeting minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is that Kate Gaskell has resigned from the board. We do want to thank her very much for the work that she has done, and she is continuing to help. So she has brought a lot of good things to the society. I think she will continue to bring some good things to the society, but she's not on the board anymore at this point. So that said, I am going to move on to the next point, which is going to be our strategic plan. Joe Henderson, would you like to tell us what you have planned for our strategic planning?
Hi, yes. So we have started looking at different funding options, and some of those grants have certain requirements within them that the Folk Song Society has certain goals, or how do we want to spend the money, or how we want to grow the organization or staff the office, or various other things we might want to do. So I decided with some coaxing to start to put together a long-term strategic plan, hopefully a plan that's going to carry us for the next 10 to 20 years with some tune-ups every now and then. I put together a rough list of goals for the strategic plan and a rough list of people we want to interview for the strategic plan, and that includes people that are longtime FEST volunteer leaders, past officers of FEST or of the society, uh, singer-songwriters, men, women, people of color, trying to get as many included in the process as possible. And if anybody on this meeting has a suggestion, please drop me an email. What we want to do is start the interview process over the summer and hopefully present a draft plan to the board next winter, February 2026, and hopefully present it to the membership if it's appropriate sometime soon after that. Does the board have any questions?
Joe, just if you want to introduce the people who are going to be helping you out that you know.
So there's going to be a lot of people helping out. Rob Kutzik has volunteered to do a few interviews. Eric Ring is going to get involved with some interviews. I mean, we're talking probably 40 to 50 interviews, so there's no way I can do it all myself. And we're going to be working with Rob Amsterdam and working with Barry Sagotsky, and just a bunch of people are going to be pitching in and helping out. I think it's going to be a real team effort.
Well, definitely I want to thank you for taking this on. It's a big project and definitely something that we need to do.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Right, anybody have any other questions for Joe about the strategic plan? Any board members?
Or you can post them in the chat too after the meeting.
All right, so then I'm going to move on to the treasury report. Eric Robbins, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Let me share screen here. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I do want to start off by saying that we had a fun and successful Fest Chair picnic since our last meeting. It was a lot of fun to see everybody and exchange a lot of good ideas. And I want to thank Nina Owens for putting that all together, taking care of everything. Also want to mention that, you might have noticed or experienced some issues with Upt or saw something on social media. We did have some hiccups with Upt, but as far as I know, everything's up and running now with our ticket platform. But if anyone has any issues trying to buy tickets or any issues with their charges, feel free to email me, erobbins@pfs.org, or you can reach me through the ticketing@pfs.org or the director's email as well. Okay. So on to the treasurer's report. Our highlights are we have over 450,000 in cash, and net income for the period I'm reporting was a little over 92,000. Bear in mind, I did not do a treasurer's report for the April meeting, so I am reporting an income statement for 2 months here. So we can take a look at it, April and May, and you can see we sold 93,000 in festival tickets. We've also secured sponsorships and vendor fees of 32,278. That hasn't all been collected. In fact, the sponsorships, none of them have been collected yet, but they have been secured. So we have total revenue of 125,000. Our expenses are now, ramping up. Obviously, as we go forward, we're going to pay a lot of expenses now. So we did pay 45,103 in expenses. That's made up of 20,000 that we paid to our vendor who provides all our tents and some chairs and tables. 13,000 to our festival director, 2 months of fees, 4,500, 5,000, I apologize, in fees paid to our publicist, which also represents 2 months, $2,500 that we paid to XPN for advertising for the month of May, and one performer deposit for $37.50. So that's the bulk of our expenses. So, net income for the period, 2 month period, is 80,000 plus. For the fest, we had 135,000 coming into the period. So now in our coffers for this festival, we have a profit so far of 215,475. Say profit, obviously we're selling tickets in advance of incurring expenses, so it's going to flip the other way. In general, we are behind on ticket sales from where we were last year, and we are projecting similar sales. So you guys, our members, our volunteers, the people that love our festival, are our best salespeople. So please get out there and try to get people to buy tickets. As far as volunteer tickets go, that was the only ticket that we reduced the fee year over year from last year, down to $99 from $119. But that's a sale price that is good through June 14th. So please, committee chairs, everyone, let your volunteers know. We want people to take advantage of that. On June 15th, it will kick back up to the $119 price of last year. There'll be that price toward the festival. For the society itself, we had member dues and donations of close to $10,000. Pretty comparable. Once again, 2 months, so pretty comparable to what we see, about 5,000 a month. We did have interest income of $1,930. The majority of our money is invested in Capital One, as our normal bank checking doesn't pay interest, and that interest income is the most we've made in any given month, but does represent 2 months, and going to have to start drawing some of that money out to pay bills. So we won't see as much interest going forward, but I was glad to see as much as we gotten. And then our society expenses were just a little under 5,000 for the 2 month period. Once again, our biggest expense is our 500 a month for our office. We also pay $449 to Iron Mountain for our archive storage. And then we have a lot of miscellaneous software costs and some of the occupancy costs for the office. We have Pico and Comcast. I did write off an old payable. We had $5,200 due to our old accountants that prepared our 2020 compilation. They haven't tried to collect. We were fighting this. They haven't tried to collect in over a year. I assume they're not trying to collect. So kind of wrote that off. So that increased our net assets as well. So you can see $12,000 increase in net assets for the society. Total increase for the period, 92,000. So we're up to 504,000 in society net assets. So if we look at our balance sheet as of today, you can see that our total assets of 504,000 agrees to our total net assets, meaning we have no liabilities. Very happy to say we're current on all our payables. We have not borrowed anything on our line of credit since we paid it off in June of last year. Still open and available to us. Hopefully we don't have to use it. So strong financial position in that we have no liabilities. All our assets are our net assets. And you can see they're broken down by mostly cash, a little over 450. We have some sponsorships that Rob has procured for us. Those will be paid to us between now and the festival, 28.5. And we have some ticket sales from Upped that we've yet to get the money on. They send money over in tranches. This is what they owe us as of today. Okay. That's it for the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Eric. I also want to take a moment just to really point out the work that Eric does, not only with the financial, but with Upped. I was on vacation for a week, so I was trying to tune out a little bit when this whole thing kind of came up with Upped and in terms of the system going down. And in addition, occasionally we have some hiccups where people are double charged. I don't know if they're hitting the button twice or exactly what is causing that. It does happen. Eric is like right on it. He's putting in a lot of time and effort. And I know that everybody is putting a lot of time in, but I see what Eric is doing, especially with the ticket sales. He does a phenomenal job, and really, if there's anything that's smoothing out that experience, Eric Robbins is responsible for that. So I really appreciate what you're doing. Next up, we're going to have our festival update. So Dan, you're up. And just so you know, Michael is meeting with, I think, the township and some emergency higher ups that are taking care of our emergency plan and going on with that. So that's why Michael is not here. But we are in good hands with Dan. So go for it.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for the introduction. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dan Gossin. I'm on the management team. I'm a longtime Fest kid, parking chairman, and this is my second year on the festival management team. And a proud moment for me to be able to present the festival report to the members and the board of directors. And I'm happy to represent the management team and to share Michael's words. Good evening. I apologize that I am not able to attend the board meeting this evening. There is a Folk Festival Emergency Management Planning meeting tonight. I, along with Brian Kraft, Operations Director, am currently meeting with representatives from Upper Salford Township, its volunteer fire company, Montgomery County, and first responders to review operational considerations for the weekend of the festival. This is the first such meeting for 2025 and will be followed by others as we move closer to the event, as well as daily operational briefings during the weekend of the festival. I am writing this report in advance of tonight's meeting. If all has gone according to plan, we will have announced our second round of performers for the 2025 festival. This release includes 10 acts, both main stage acts and side stage artists. I hope that the announcement was received well. The plan is to coordinate with Mixtape Media on rolling announcements every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the spring and summer. On a marketing note, we have finalized an ad package with WXPN, so listeners should be hearing festival spots when they tune in. Day tickets went live on May 15th, and you can now purchase passes. The sale prices are $45 for Friday, $50 for Saturday, and $45 for Sunday. This sale ends July 14th, at which point the price increases by $10 until gate prices take effect. There
Dan,
have been, go ahead.
I apologize. Those are youth prices, 12 to 17. Those are not adult ticket prices.
Okay, gotcha. I'm reading off of Michael's sheet here, so we can update that with proper information.
It's
Yeah, I
all the
apologize.
information's on our website is correct.
Gotcha. There have been a lot of meetings this month, along with board members and festival leadership. I have met with supervisors of Upper Salford Township, vendors and potential vendors, sponsors, UPT, and several committees. Our chair picnic was also held on Sunday, May 18th. There was a great turnout. A lot of business was discussed, and not lies were told. Fun was had. I'd like to thank Nina Owens once again for everything she did to make the event such a success. Contracts relating to infrastructure are being reviewed and executed. We finalized the Cisco trailer agreement for volunteer food and have come to terms on a sound and lighting package with Klondike, who will be returning this year. The latest quote to come in is from Walters, our porta potty and shower provider. Alyssa, Thea, Eric Robbins, and I are currently reviewing it prior to final approval. I'm working with Jane Toohey in preparation for media application submissions, and we should have the process defined and ready to launch soon. Once set up, Eric Ring and I will work on agreements and rules and regulations that will accompany an applicant's acceptance. Dan Gossin is finishing work on the festival's contingency parking plan and should have it ready for chairs shortly. Booking-wise, I'm putting the final touches on the weekend, largely centered around children's performers for Dulcimer Grove and MAC artists. I'm also looking into a few more artists to round out the presentations in the culture tent. I've started programming the side stages for the weekend and continue to meet regularly with my team and to finalize the schedule for all 7 stages. Thank you, Michael Braunfeld. And if I could add myself, there is a couple of needs from the management team that we feel like the community could be of help to us. We need a laminator. If there's anyone in the community that has a laminator that we can borrow, I believe for the week of the festival. And also if there's anyone out there that has a gas stove that they'd be willing to donate, we would definitely have use for it. And that concludes the festival report. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dan. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know you over the past 2 years, and I'm glad to see your give the report and everything like that. And if you want to know what the pricing is for the day tickets, definitely go onto the website. All right, so we have also been talking about a 2026 spring thing or fall fling. I'm going to bring Rob into the conversation and sort of give a little bit of an outline about what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But
Very, very, very early stages. And in fact, I'm glad we're announcing it here that we're now beginning to explore this. As we were thinking, I was brainstorming with Joe about, how we want to get young people into PFS, and talking to some people who have been to Spring Thing for many years. That's a great way of getting young people into the fest and PFS. And I know there's been a desire among members. We were very hesitant to do anything for quite a while for 2 reasons. One was financial. The other was people power, the staff that is non-existent. That was one of the concerns. But I realized the volunteers did a lot to make this happen. So the very first step is I need to reach out to the volunteers that ran these events. I know that Diane Tankel was very involved, so I have a call into her. But if there's other people right here at at this board meeting, if they'd be willing to email me. You could either just email at directors@PFS, simple email, or just say, I'd like to talk to Rob, I was involved. I can get some ideas from you, but the bottom line is we're not going to be running it. It needs to be run by the volunteers. My role is to figure out what the costs were, and basically come up with a budget and figure out who can do it, and then step back. Again, there's a lot of history here in this meeting. You may be able to educate me in different ways, so please email me. We could set up a time to talk. My first question is going to be, we don't have the records easily available. What kind of expenses were involved and what kind of revenue was taken in? And then if we're a little short there, I certainly could focus on trying to raise money, but ultimately the part that I'm concerned about, because I can't help with it all, is running the actual event, and that would be needed from the people who've done it in the past. So I know there's interest. Look forward to hearing from some of you, and I'm glad that we're in the position now that we can at least think about it. We're still talking, it would not be before 2026. It would only be one of the two, and that is still to be decided whether it would be the spring or the fall.
And I think one of the things that we were talking about was, because we're going to try to continue doing the Gene Shea awards, which happen sort of at the end of winter, beginning of spring, having that and then spring thing, or do we do a fall fling after the fest is over? But
yeah, pros and cons of those.
Yeah, but if people have, if they want to give their opinion as to which one they would rather have, that would help us too, because I think the more interested event is going to be the one that we probably end up going with anyway. All right, so I'm going to stick with Rob because we're at the development report. So if you want to.
Sure, we're keeping pretty busy right now, and want to thank the RD committee for all their work. We have a couple people helping with sponsorships, of course, Joe, as well as Jeanette Perlswig. We have a lot of them in, and only a couple that have come through. One of them, of course, is Martin Guitars, we've been meeting with, and they're our top sponsor right now. They're our Martin main stage sponsor. We also have Valley Forge back, Valley Forge Bureau and Valley Forge Tourism Bureau and Convention Center, and in addition, our friend Joe Horgan. We have a lot of sponsorships out. Haven't heard back from any of them yet in terms of affirmative. So we're not putting our marbles in one place. Not only are we going to be working on ads, and we're going to put together our street team. Already we've had some results. Just today we got an ad that we've never had before, simply because we had a volunteer that went in and told them about it. And so if there's more of you that want to be on the street team, just let me know. We are going to be putting in a grant. And before I say that, I do want to thank Annie, who has been doing so much for us in the past with grants, and we're certainly going to need her efforts in the future. This particular grant, I kind of jumped on. It was a political grant involving state money. It was, again, thanks to Rob Amsterdam, who alerted us to it. It's been all consuming. We've met with the Upper Salford Township. We've been getting all our ducks in a row, getting political figures to support it. I want to thank Michael and the two Erics that have been involved as well. But the grant is not quite yet in, but we're going to go for $90,000. That will help us quite a bit if we get that money. The money will go towards marketing to try to get some of those ticket sales up, maybe reaching some new people in new areas outside of the Philadelphia area and even outside of Pennsylvania. As Eric mentioned, we definitely are behind in ticket sales, and that is a concern. So fundraising is becoming ever more important. And a big thing that we're doing and we're working on is the Friend of Festathon, or Fest Friendathon. I never say it correctly. And that is being put together by our team. I know Erin Gorse is doing the brunt of the work behind the scenes there. But we have some really great ideas. We have some great prizes. I don't know if Erin wants to say anything about that. Do you want to talk about it for a minute?
I don't have my stuff in front of me, so I'm afraid I'd say something that's not what we decided on.
Well, we did decide on a flush porta potty for the first prize, right?
Yes.
And second prize gets a non-flush porta potty. Actually, there is an important thing that we did want to mention, and Erin's going to help with this. We're going to make it easy for everybody. We're going to create the teams ahead of time so you don't have to go in and try to figure it out. And we're going to try to create teams for all the campsites that we're aware of. And then it'll be ready-made for you to participate. If I know the llamas are very excited. They think they're going to win again, and but we're going to have some really good second prizes and third prizes this year. So I know the Who Hill is gunning for that non-flush porta potty, right, Eric?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I know I'm not part of that scene, but I know how important it is to the festival, and we hope that all of you who love the festival are going to participate, and we'll get more teams this year. So that's going to be very important. That's going to start in mid-June. We really do need everyone's participation. Again, even though it looks like we're doing great with 500,000 in assets, the festival actually costs $1 million. So we have to make sure we get that $500,000 somewhere. And if we can't get it by future ticket sales, the fundraising will really help. So basically, that's the fundraising story, and I'm sticking to it. We can definitely use your help. There's still time for more sponsorships. If you know a company or anyone that works in a company, that's a good lead right then and there. So thank you for letting me speak about fundraising, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, Rob. And I don't see why Who Hill can't go for the flush toilet. I don't know why it's the unflushed toilet.
They be flushed with pride. I think Annie raised her hand here.
Um,
We're having questions later or now? What do you want?
Let's do questions at the end.
Okay.
Annie, if you want to put it in chat so I can read. Oh wait, make it in.
I've got chat disabled right now. But she's
I
indicating
got it.
that she needs to get your attention.
Yeah. All right. Annie, do you want to say something about the loss of Debbie?
Yeah, we just got a Facebook message from Steve and Jeanette. They had visited Steve and Debbie last summer. Debbie battled with cancer and passed away on May 25th, Steve Collette's wife. So they just wanted people to know about that. So that's the announcement. And there may be some event down the road to honor her.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Annie. I know that there has been a lot of people who we have that we've lost, especially to cancer. We had a very special person on Central Control who passed away last year. Christina Gavrilla just passed away from cancer. So one of the things I'm going to use this as sort of one of the things that I'm going to work on is trying to get a table where we have one or two cancer associations, people who work with families where a member has been diagnosed with cancer, and have them at the festival so they can give information, because it's an epidemic, and it's something that has hit our community very hard. So that's something that I'm actually working on. All right, back to our agenda. I'm gonna we're at our membership report, and Erin, if you want to come in and give us our membership report.
Yes. Hi. So Eric, I'm sorry, I'm not on my computer. Do you have that slide handy? If not,
Oh,
I think I remember everything that's on it.
you,
I didn't think about that. If not, it's okay.
did you just email it to me, or did you email it to?
I think I emailed it to you.
Okay.
But it's okay. But So for May, we are at 844 members, which is up 10 from last month's report. So the big update is that we did launch our new CRM is getting there, and then we launched the new website that goes with our new CRM, which is where people will join or renew their membership. So that site's been up since the 10th. We've had 30 some people use it so far. We've had a handful of questions and little issues with it, but so far it seems to be going pretty well. I hope it's been a good experience for the people using it. And so with that new site being up and running, we started resending the reminder emails for if your membership has lapsed. So if you've recently gotten that email, it's because basically in the old system, you had a record that lapsed. If you had duplicate records, you might still have an active membership. So if you think you got that email and you shouldn't have, that's definitely possible. You can always write to me or the director's email, and they'll forward it to me if you ever have any questions about if your membership is active or not. I can look that up for you now. And then once we have all the current members loaded into the new site, everybody will be able to log in with the email address that's attached to their membership. That information is not in there yet. So if you're using that new website, it won't have your email address yet. So you'll basically be using it as if you're a new user. And then you can set up a new password and stuff like that. But we will be importing the current members from the old site into that new site so that everybody will be able to log in and check their membership status, see when their expiration date is. You can update your email address, update your address, that kind of stuff. And we are in the talks of hopefully having exciting other stuff in there for you. It's just not quite ready yet. So I think that was my main update. And then I, on my little slide, had a little call that the membership committee could use some volunteers. If anybody knows anyone that is very basic Excel, I think is the only skill I require for someone to help me. But if especially, I would say somebody who is in high school, college, career changing, that is interested in working at a nonprofit, I would love to give them some experience of how to use the software that we're using and get a little bit of help. It's pretty straightforward and it's not a lot of time. It's mostly just that I could really use having one or two extra people that can do the stuff in the system that I know how to do for the times that I'm not available. So I think that's everything I have for membership and for the new CRM.
Great. Thank you, Erin. And I got one of those emails saying that my membership lapsed, and it actually had. I looked it up, and I went in and I renewed my membership, and it was pretty easy. And now I have access to actually see what's going on with my membership. So it's
all right, great.
It worked well. And I tried to open up the slideshow, and I don't have Microsoft permission on this computer.
Oh, gotcha.
Open it up anyway. So thank you, Erin. Next up, we're going to have our MAC report, Musical Artists Cooperative, and that is either going to be Mara, Jefferson, or Rob.
I'll just start because I forgot one thing, and then I'll turn it over to Mara and Jefferson. We have one other interesting fundraiser that just happened. We are going to have a folk festival wine that will be sold. We'll keep you posted on it, and all proceeds other than the cost of making the wine will go to our organization, and that is compliments of the Pono Fern Ridge Winery. So we're very excited about that. Now that we've spoken about wine, we will we'll have more sobering now. We'll actually have some fun news, I'm sure, from Mac. I'll start with Maura, if she'd like to go first, or turn it over to Jefferson. That's her decision.
I'll do a quick report on our upcoming open mics and the MAC website. I'll turn it over then to Jefferson to talk about the upcoming June shows and the big event on June 29th. Okay, so we have 3 open mics in June. We have a makeup show that we have 2 shows at the Keswick, which Jefferson can talk about in more detail, but on June 3rd and on June 17th, we're having our shows at the Keswick with the in-person open mic afterwards, which goes from 8 to 9. So people would come at 6:30 to sign up for that. I will put the information in the chat when that becomes open to me. And of course, we have our monthly Zoom open mic on the 18th from 7 to 9:30. I will also put the registration form and my email address in the chat when that becomes available. And then lastly, I'll mention that our MAC page on the PFS website is available for people to look currently at our calendar. And we have a team that's working on putting up the artist profiles with all of their links, which hopefully sometime in June will be complete so people can look at our MAC acts. And if they want to do any bookings of our MAC acts, that would be great. So again, we do have a tab on the PFS website, pfs.org/PFS-MAC, and I'll put that in the chat. And then I'll turn it over to Jefferson to talk about the upcoming performances, and he has a couple of graphics he can share if he's enabled to share 6.
Good evening, everybody. At first, I gotta say, I looked at the new folks that are coming on to the festival. This festival is going to be phenomenal. Sam Robbins, man, if you've not seen him, the guy's the best. Anyway, let me put up what we've got coming on with Mac here in June. The month starts off next Tuesday with Railroad Wings and Larry Hearn. Railroad Wings is our esteemed vice president, and Julianne Ott, and the songs of Julianne Ott, and it's a very interesting songwriter. And of course, Rob on fiddle is always a pleasure. Larry Hearn has been selected for the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and this is a free show for all PFS members, although wink wink, it's also for future PFS members. And the one we had this last Tuesday, the open mic that follows it, it's really strong outcoming people coming out to play. So yeah, Keswick on the first Tuesdays, on this first Tuesday and usually the third Tuesday of the month, pretty good place to hang. Talking about the Keswick on June 17th, a couple of fingerstyle guitar players, songwriters, Ann Ramsey and Denny Barnes, are going to be at the Keswick, followed by an open mic as well.
Bunny Barnes.
What did I say?
Sounded
Buddy?
like Betty, but it's Bunny.
It's Bunny Barnes. I mean, she is like,
Buddy's a student of Tommy Emmanuel.
and just real eye-opening guitar technique. I mean, really amazingly strong. So, Kathy Quinn and Steve Lessick. Kathy Quinn has a new album out that is a bunch of really interesting songs. And Steve Lessick is the best singing drummer that I know right now. I mean, he backs everybody up, and he's great. That follows a jam too. That's at Mililani Cafe. If you're into Greek food, come early for dinner. You will not be disappointed. Two of the best songwriters in Mac, and I'm told not to say the best, but Alex Radis and Aaron Nathans are like award-winning. Alex is currently on tour with the Falcon Ridge Emerging Artists. We saw him this past week at the Royal Glenside. Just he can play anything. And Aaron Nathans, long-term Folk Song Society member and winner of the Kerrville Folk Festival, as well as you know, a NERFA showcase person. That at Warehouse 3, again, if you've not been to the Warehouse 3, the guy who owns it is an antique stealer. The place is like as wild a listening room as you've ever been. And that's Rob Borgstrom. Rob Borgstrom and I are producing a show at the end of the month on Sunday afternoon, June 29th. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's a Sunday afternoon. I've got a barbecue truck, an ice cream truck. Uh, we've got the street closed in Swarthmore, and we have 10 artists from who are chosen from last year's folk festival. These are the Mac artists that played the Mac stage last year. And the way the show's set up is it's a family kind of event. Sunday afternoon, bring out the kids. The day's going to start with Two of a Kind and Mr. David C. Perry, both veterans of Dulcimer Grove, the family shows. Megan Carey, Ernie and KDD, that's the Kicking Down Doors trio. King H. gluten-free Flower Town Doughboys is like a hybrid of the one of the guys. And Cubism with Heidi is leading the full band that time. My new project, the Jefferson Coalition, Aaron Nathans again, and possibly again, I shouldn't say the best, but Jersey Cornpickers are the best bluegrass band in town. I mean, their talent is just over the top. Anyway, 10 acts, $10. I mean, come on now, buy some tickets. Here's the other thing about this event is this is a Mac event with advanced ticket sales that we're managing through events.com. They're the people that are handling. They handled the Colonial Gene Shea thing, and we've trying to establish a relationship there, managing ticket sales for venues that otherwise wouldn't have advanced ticket sales. So prove me right and go buy tickets. If you go to the Philadelphia Folk Festival site, can you see that? Did I just switch my thing?
We
Or do I
still
have-
just have the same flyer up. I don't
I
think you
do,
put up
okay, I have
the
to
other
stop
flyer.
this and I have to share this. Got it.
Yeah.
And so if you go to the Philadelphia Folk Song Society site, we've gotten ourselves up on the site where you can see Musical Artists Cooperative. And this tells you a little bit more about that event. Right here, the ticket button. Ticket button takes you over to events.com to buy your $10 ticket. Now, on our flyer, we have actually the net price, which has got, some of the ticket charges they add on, but basically $10, $15. Come out and see our show. It's going to be great.
Why don't you
I think
scroll down too and just show them our calendar of events is all
Oh,
up.
oh yeah. Oh, right. The calendar of events. This is the other thing we're doing here is it's the Philly Mac Fest, a day of celebration. It's not a fest preview, and it's happening in
Oh,
June.
you know what? It still says Fort Washington State Park, so I think you better change that.
I thought I did.
It says Fort Washington State Park. Can you change that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Whoops. Okay.
I'll get
Thanks.
that done. Huh. I ordered it. Darn. Hey, volunteers, man. We're all volunteers,
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you can always get a pretty good calendar here with some exceptions.
Can you throw up that other flyer that shows them the location? Because that is going to be held across the street from the Warehouse 3. And the Warehouse 3 is the rain location. If it rains, there's an inside location that people can go into.
Correct.
So it's the Swarthmore Municipal, is it the Swarthmore Municipal Amphitheater?
Yes, it
Borough
is.
Amphitheater?
It's the township's amphitheater, and it's on Park Avenue. And for that whole block is going to be closed off for food trucks. And what happened? They do this a bunch down there, and whenever they happen, you'll get several hundred people out to hang out and just enjoy it. So you'll meet a bunch of the locals, and have a strong showing for the folks. But two of a kind, Mr. David C. Perry, King Edge Hill, gluten-free Flower Town Doughboys, which is the Edge Hill Rounders, more or less. Two of a kind's coming back with their adult show. My new project, Megan Carey and her husband will be out doing what they do. Aaron Nathan's Cubism, Ernie and KDD, the Kicking Down Doors hybrid, and Jersey Cornpickers. Starts about 12:30. We should be finished by sunset.
Excellent.
And oh yes, and I'll put the ticket sale thing up in the chat at the end of the meeting.
I think that's it for our report, Rob.
I think so.
Okay, thank you, Jefferson and Mara. Sorry about that. So yeah, definitely check out some of the Mac shows. It's a great part of the society. Hold on for 1 second. I am going to turn it over to Julie, who's going to talk about our partnership reports.
Hey everyone, good evening. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. I apologize if this is a little clunky. I've been working on partnerships for a whole 36 hours now. So to say I've gotten thrown into the fire is a bit of an understatement. So apologies. So here is our PFS concert calendar for June. Coming up on June 3rd, we have Railroad Wings and Larry Ahern, 7 o'clock at the Keswick Annex. Wednesday, June 4th, we have Dylanology Live. That's Joan Osborne at the Keswick Theater. PFS members are getting a 50% discount. I can throw that in the chat for everybody. Pardon me, just so you know, you do get 50 off on those tickets if you are a PFS member. June 6th, Carla Bonhoff, 8 p.m. at the Sellersville Theater. There will be a link going out for member ticket giveaways for that as well. Tuesday, the 10th, the Jam at the Gem from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Gem in Spring City. It's an acoustic song circle. Here it's a ton of fun. Coming up on Sunday, June 15th, we have Both Sides Now, the music of Joni Mitchell and Leonard Cohen at the Sellersville at 8. Again, we will have a PFS member ticket giveaway for that show. Wednesday, the 18th at 8 p.m. at the Keswick Theater is Buddy Guy. Super fantastic guitar player. Definitely try to check that show out. And then on the 29th, the Wildwoods and Maggie Pope, 8 p.m. at the Sellersville.
Julie, can you throw the 17th in, because we do have our monthly free concert on the 17th at the Keswick Theater. So if you could throw that in, if you do a revision, we'd really appreciate that.
I absolutely will. Sorry about that, Mara. It was not
No
on
worries.
my radar. And in fact, until about 30 seconds ago, I thought that Buddy Guy show was on the 17th and was
Gotcha.
thinking they were on the same day. So thank you. And I will add that in. Also upcoming, and I have not gotten the chance to make graphics for this yet, but I figure I will do some shout outs for Bryn Mawr Twilight Concert Series and the Concert Under the Stars. They have some awesome artists coming up. Livingston Taylor on June 20th, who has played Fest in the past. He's fantastic. That next day is Chris Smither. I plan to be at that show. Fantastic. So that's coming up as well. They've got the Point 20-year reunion, and coming up in July, Steve Forbert and more coming up in July there. For Concert Under the Stars, a couple things to shout out. Steve Earle is going to be there Friday, June 13th. Amy Mann on June 14th. And lots of other things coming up. And that's all I've got. Thanks, everyone.
And I was going to say this before I introduced you, but Julie, thank you for taking this on. And literally, I think we talked about it yesterday or the day before. And Julie stepping in and just hitting the ground running. So thank you. We already talked about the CRM and the website, so I don't know if there's anything else to report on that. So I am going to open it up to questions and see if we can answer anybody's questions. I think last month we hardly had any. Hey Trish, how you doing? You're up.
Good. I have a quick couple of things to report, and they are that there's a new episode of the Smiling Banjo podcast that came out on Sunday, and it's a pretty entertaining episode with Kathy Fink, Marcy Markser, and Chow Chen, and they talk about how they got together and how they make music together, and then there's an example of them playing over at the camp stage, which was a very kind of an organic experience. And of all of the podcast episodes, I think that it's one of them, the most enjoyable ones to watch. So get your Smiling Banjo podcast wherever you get podcasts. And then the second thing is I would like to express gratitude for having 17 boxes of archives sprung. Basically, they were ransomed out of Iron Mountain storage. And I know most of you have followed along the whole Iron Mountain saga, and they are as difficult a company to work with as any I've ever had to deal with. But when they missed their deadline, they were supposed to deliver items on a Tuesday. And Eric Robbins and I called them on it. The next day at 9 o'clock in the morning, there was this big, beautiful truck. And the only thing on the truck were the 17 cartons that they were delivering. And out they came. They were delivered perfectly. Most of them were in the exact same condition, like they were in the exact same condition that we put them in. But of note to all of you here and anybody who enjoys the fact that recorded material will be coming back so you can eventually listen to it and ask about it. There are recordings going back to 1965, not all of them, but like the entire 1969 Folk Festival is there on cassette. I just finished doing the entire 1978 Folk Festival, which was all on cassettes. And so there are some real treasures that are coming back. Not too much in video, but definitely lots and lots and lots of audio. So we look forward to people becoming members, and then maybe there will be a way in our membership area that we can start sharing some of this, and we're working on how to go about doing it. We have some really good ideas, but anyway, so stuff is coming out of Iron Mountain, and the first 17 boxes that we got, I can tell you, are many, many, many treasures. I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has any.
Okay, thank you, Trish, and thank you for everything that you do. I definitely listening to a bunch of stuff that's on was it Vimeo that you put up there, and it's great stuff. All right, Mara, you want to?
Yep, I'm just putting in the chat the upcoming June events that we spoke about for anyone who would like to save the chat. And I'm also just going to pop in the PFS Mac page that Jefferson referred to, where people can go and buy tickets to the MacFest and look.
I think you just muted yourself.
Yes, I did, because I'm finished. I'm putting this all in the chat.
All right. So Drew,
And he did mention that it is all going to be in the tune-up as well when it comes out, all of our scheduled events.
So Drew, our webmaster, you're up next.
Yeah, hey everyone. More of an announcement than a question, but the web team is looking for more documentation, fax, email addresses for volunteer chairs, and for volunteers on different committees. We have a volunteer committee description page where we're trying to kind of get ahead of confusion of newcomers and document more what these different committees do, how they interact, where to go on your starting day. I think that's like one of the common pain points I hear from people is they don't really know what to do. And so if you have any of that information, please feel free to email the boards or email me directly. We also have contact information on the bottom of the FolkFest website, which is actually the easiest way to reach us. But yeah, just looking for anything that we can turn into fax to get ahead of, the onslaught of questions that are going to come as Fest approaches.
Thanks, Drew. All right, Mara.
Yeah, I forgot one last thing. I don't know, Trish, if you mentioned that we were contacted by James Van Camp, who had a little trove of cassette tapes of past performances, I think from the fest. And I put him in touch with Trish, and I believe he's going to be, or if he, oh yes, he did send them, and she's putting them in the archives. I don't know if she mentioned that or if I missed it. So we have to thank James Van Camp for donating his collection of tapes that he had, some recordings from the past fest. He said recorded live at mainly evening concerts on professional JVC tape deck from the late 70s into the 90s.
Great.
So thank you,
Yep,
James.
so
Thank you.
yeah, I have his tapes. He sent them and they are here.
Okay. And Drew put his contact information in chat if you can follow up with him. Joseph, I think you're up.
Okay, I live in Norwich, Connecticut. I've seen that security has a orientation meeting thing going on down there in Philly. Is there going to be any online orientation prior to Fest that I can attend?
So I think that would be a question for Brian. But he is at a management meeting that's going on up there now. So I don't have an answer to that question. Dan, I don't know if you would know. I don't know if that was discussed or not yet, but
I'm
so
sorry, what was the question?
so whether for security, whether there was going to be an online training meeting, basically, as opposed to an in-person meeting for
Yeah, I
people.
would run that past Brian.
Okay. What I would do is I would email Brian directly. Do you have his contact information, Joe?
Not that I recall.
All right.
Uh,
So
I can post that.
yeah,
Oh, okay, thank you.
then I'll post that and we can see what we can do there. All right. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, happy thoughts?
Eric Robbins, you had a lot of issues with the ticketing and mischarges. Do you want to just briefly touch on if anybody has some mischarges or double charges, or has that all been solved?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's been solved. Once again, if anyone listening, either tonight or the taped version of this has issues, email us, email me, erobbins@pfs.org, or the ticketing at pfs.org, or the directors at pfs.org, and let us know. And there was an issue where some cards were being charged twice. Uh, the first time was supposed to be just an authorization and then the real charge. And to be honest, I don't know if it actually did hit the cards twice, but it showed up twice, and the authorization is supposed to go down after a day or two, and people were reacting to seeing them twice. So not sure if it actually happened or it just looked like it happened, but preemptively, the ticket agent did go in and withdraw the authorization. So I think we're good now. But once again, if anyone has issues, reach out to us and we'll certainly deal with them right away. And we apologize if that's the case.
And like I was saying, like pretty much any time I see a comment that comes in, I see Eric handling that right away. So thank you. And if you know anybody who is frustrated, then definitely have them reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Joseph, Dan posted Brian Kraft's email in the chat. So you should be able to email Brian directly to find out about the training.
Thank you. I'm trying to do that right now.
Great. Okay. David, you're up next.
Real quick, will you be looking for a new board member to replace Kate Gaffney?
We are talking about that. There's a couple people who are going to be making recommendations for an appointment. We also have to talk about the fact that at the end of the year, we're going to have an election coming up. So we are going to need people to run also. So we have some people who ran or were appointed for 1-year terms. So, they would hopefully run again. I'm looking at Cheryl. And anybody else who is interested in running. I know a couple people have said that they were interested. But again, we want to, in terms of appointing somebody, we just want to take our time, make sure we have you know, somebody who's going to do the work and everything like that.
Stay the course, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
Yeah.
you be redistributing her duties among the existing board?
So, yes and no. Some of them will be, but we have Julie Linehauser who's stepping in and doing that. We have somebody who's identified to help do some of the tabling stuff. And that just has to be formalized. I haven't really talked to that person directly yet. The other thing that would be helpful, again, are people who have um, expertise in marketing. So if there's other people who would like to help out with marketing and kind of get on to the various marketing teams that we have the fest side, we have the society side. But if there are other people who want to volunteer in that area who have some skills, we definitely have some people who know a lot. I know Lisa is really good with that stuff too, and especially with the graphics. But she's already doing a lot.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? Not seeing any hands. I am going to make ask for a motion to close the meeting.
So motioned.
Any seconds?
Second.
Eric Robbins. All right. All those in favor of ending the meeting? We'll see everybody next month.